Whoa. Okay, I'm having one of those moments where I never thought I would say this before YouTube, but where'd the graveyard go? What's up, guys, and welcome back to Hello Neighbor. And for today's episode, we're gonna be cheating. Honestly, this was the most fun I had making a video for Alpha 3, was going outside of the map and finding all these little story points and plot points and areas that weren't actually in the game yet, that nobody else had found yet. I could definitely remember finding the golden apple being the highlight of my playing Hello Neighbor. So today, we're gonna do pretty much the same thing. I've got ghosting on, I can fly, we should have unlimited access. It's kind of hard to judge from here if they've been changing the places we were in Alpha 3, because in Alpha 3 it was nighttime, you couldn't really see anything, now it's day, and I feel like they've moved them a lot closer. Right, a lot of this stuff was really far away, like almost not visible, I thought. So the map seems a little bit smaller, but it might just be perspective and, like I said, the fact that it's daytime. Anyway, we'll get to that. I wanted to start off by going over here, because this was the first place that I went to test out the cheat, so I've already seen this much, but there used to be a code up here, and now it's hidden by a bunch of boxes. And let's be honest, this is here for cheaters to find. There is no way in the game to get up here and see this. So the developers have put it here for people who, I guess, want to cheat and find it. And you can't actually lift up the boxes, but you can dip your head through. And it reads, 22381 apple. What that means, I don't really know, but we could just put that in the folder of unexplained stuff. Same kind of thing with the windmill, right? Because there's no way to get up here as far as I can tell without cheating, but this was used in the cutscene. Like, the neighbor was right here in the intro, and he was very upset by the looks of it. I don't really know what I have some hypothesis what he was doing, but again, I'm going to save that kind of thing for a theory video. I should mention, I'm going to be theorizing a little bit in this video because all of the places that we're finding are clearly not in the game yet, so I want to talk about why they're here, that kind of stuff. But, I mean, the windmill's broken, I did that, but he was definitely... Oh! He is definitely right here. Okay, that makes sense, because we've seen this in past alphas. Alpha 3, there was a neighbor and a protagonist underneath the door. The game runs its cutscenes in-engine, so it has to do something with the models once it's done with them. So this was the guy that was in the intro up here, and now he's just T-posed. I've already looked in all of the neighboring homes, and they're pretty empty. I mean, they're really interesting. Like, look at this house. Why does it have a little tiny house on stilts on top of the rest of it? But when you go inside, it's blank, right? There's nothing here. So I won't be going into every single house that we pass, because a lot of it is just set dressing. There's no real reason. I don't want to waste time this episode. But there are a couple of rooms in here that I want to find. We never did find out what this thing was for, and it doesn't really look like it's, like, attached to anything. I mean, it's attached to this giant water main, so it probably will serve some purpose at some point in the game, but right now I think it's pretty inactive. This door was locked, we couldn't get through here, and, there's nothing going on in here. Okay, nothing going on in here. I'm just gonna assume that we're gonna see a lot of empty rooms, because this is the final house. Like, this is the house that we're gonna see in the final game. It's like I keep saying, they're releasing the full game this summer, so it's all here. They just have a bunch of extra rooms that they're gonna add on to make it the final game, so that the Alpha 4 isn't the exact same. Yep, pretty much. No real secrets in here as far as I can tell. I've done a once-over of the house. It's just a lot of empty rooms. Like, every time you go to a place, like up the ladder, there's a dead end. The other side, there's nothing of interest. So there's no more secrets here. Now, we need to see if I can actually get out of the map, because there's an invisible wall around the place. I don't know if I can fly over it, if I can run through it. I can't teleport with these cheats. So, we'll just keep going until something stops us? No? Okay, we're in the clear. This Windows desktop background with a water tower on it definitely grabs my attention, but I get the feeling this is going to be set dressing, like most of what we're going to look at. But I definitely want to walk around at some point and just test to see what's physical and what isn't. I talked about this last time, where if it's physical, it means that the player is meant to interact with it. So it might actually be a second location, but if it's not physical, if you could just walk through it and it's hollow, then it's probably just set dressing for a cutscene, which is still interesting because we do have the Golden Apple Supermarket and whatever that is. That's different. We haven't seen this before. Okay, cool. I'm happy that there's anything different out here because I wasn't sure there would be. What is this? I move so freaking slow when I'm flying. I might need to just run around. I know it doesn't give us as great a view, but it's like a weird obelisk. It kind of reminds me of like a mausoleum or a monument or something like that, but that doesn't really make any sense because we have the graveyard in front of the church. So why is this here? It's even got a bunch of little desks around it and stuff like that. Okay, you know what? Let's get on the ground and actually walk around and see if this thing is physical. I don't want to die, so we're going to get close to the ground first. Walk. There we go. Okay, what the hell? I don't know if it's supposed to look like this or if it's just missing textures. Oh, that's really weird. Okay, it's physical. Strange. I don't want to say that that fits my theory of this being a playable area. I mean, it might, but it's not really a location, right? It's just a thing. Nothing written on it, nothing inside of it, nothing around it, and I have no idea what it is. So, theories in the comments, as always. I'm interested. My money is on some kind of mausoleum or monument to somebody. Can't be 100% sure, but let's go over to the Golden Apple, because this is the most interesting place that we have found in the past, and I can't tell if it's different or not. Again, because it's daytime, we can actually see stuff. The sign isn't just blowing out all of our vision. Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same, other than the fact that we can't read anything anymore. So that's kind of lame. Yeah, just written on, are you physical? Whoa. What is that? Oh, that's so creepy. I can't even pick it up. It's just a weird little mask. That might be a shout out to a YouTuber. I'm not 100% sure. There are a bunch of very small items in the game just credited to the people who kind of got Hello Neighbor off the ground in the YouTube scene. So that might be somebody that I've just never heard of, or it might mean something. I really have no idea. Maybe it's the mask of the demon that the neighbor sells his soul to. There's also this weird brick of water over here. Still. And it's still not physical, and the grocery store still isn't physical. Okay, so it's like I said, I don't think we're going to be doing platforming and running around in the grocery store. It's likely going to be a cutscene. Is there anything on the back of this mask? I should have brought a flashlight with me. I didn't think I would need it during the day. No, just a wooden mask. Okay. Next up, we have the main sign and the gas station, right? Yeah, okay. So the sign is in Russian gibberish. Gas station looks about the same as far as I remember. This was a weird one. Yeah, this one's physical, but it's not. It's just got like an invisible wall in front of it. Like I'm trying to walk forward and I can't. If I ghost and we look inside, am I ghosting right now? No. Ghost. Doesn't seem to want to let me in. Weird. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're in. And, nothing. Okay, as we would expect. So, just a bunch of shapes representing a gas station. Again, I think this is for a cutscene, right? It's the protagonist coming down, passing the sign, so you need to see that, going down towards the neighbor. This is different, however. We have an animated crow, which is really weird, because the crow in front of the neighbor's house isn't animated, the one that we would actually see while playing. And this guy is just going nuts. I can't pick him up. I can't pick that up. I can't pick you up. I can't pick up anything out here. Really weird. So this is probably from the Golden Apple Supermarket. We got... Oh! It's the shark! Oh, that's really cool! From Alpha 1? Or the pre-alpha? Oh, I like that. That is potentially a really big spoiler for the ending of this game, because it's on the back of the sign, right? We've only ever seen the protagonist drive into the city. That's the intro. We've never seen him drive out. And that would be the only reason that they would have that there, right? So maybe the game ends with somebody, the neighbor, the protagonist, both of them, we don't really know, driving away? Really interesting. But yeah, like clearly the shark is there as an Easter egg for people like me, right? People who are cheating, there's no way that you would see that in a cutscene or something like that. It's just a cool little Easter egg. I appreciate it. Hospital looks pretty much the same. Again, can't read the sign. And a big shout out to all the people leaving comments in the past videos translating stuff, because it would take me a lot of work to do it. And if you know the alphabet and you can translate this stuff for me, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys very, very much for that. A lot of people have been telling me that it's gibberish, that it's the Russian language, the dialect, like the alphabet, but it doesn't really make sense. Stuff isn't spelled correctly. I don't know why that would be, but it's definitely interesting. And this is also really interesting as well. I can't remember if I talked about this in Alpha 3, but this looks like an emergency entrance, right? Like you would have the general entrance, but if somebody shows up in an ambulance, they would go through emergency, or maybe like a long-term care entrance or something like that. And both of those have a lot of meaning if you've seen my theory videos. So the fact that this is here, it's definitely something. This really caught my eye coming up over the hill as well, because we've seen the cityscape in Alpha 3, and we just assumed that it's set dressing, right? It's the background, it's there so that we're not floating on this weird cloud world. But now that we've seen the ending cutscene for Alpha 4, we know that the protagonist moved away from a big city. We could see out his window, he was in an apartment building. There are no apartment buildings here. Everything is small houses, white picket fences, that kind of stuff. So maybe that's where the protagonist came from, and then he drives in past the gas station and all that kind of stuff to the neighbor's house, pretty much. Very strange. This was the building that caught my eye from the neighbor's roof, because it wasn't here in Alpha 3, and by the looks of it, it's not really here in Alpha 4 either. It's just a bunch of geometric shapes with no texture, right? It looks a lot like the mausoleum that we saw earlier. So why would this be here? What is it? Again, nothing inside, nothing written on it. It could be, like, it looks almost like an office building, but it's not really big enough. Wouldn't be a store or something like that. You know what? I'm willing to bet that this is where the intro and the outro cutscene happen. Maybe the developers are doing something a little bit trickier to mask it, but like I said, all of their cutscenes seem to happen in-engine, and then they need to do something with the props and the characters and stuff like that, right? Which is why the neighbor is on the roof. We don't know where the beginning and the ending of the game happen. Maybe it happens here, right? Like, we would be up there in our apartment getting ready to leave, and when we could see out his window, it was down here, and it just kind of got rid of most of it when the game began. I'm not sure. It's very, very strange. And then when over here we have the lake. Again, we have the kind of runoff from the factory. Let's go see if the factory is any different. It definitely looks different, but again, I get the feeling that it's just because it's daytime. Like in Alpha 3, the bright lights in the windows would blow out the image and you couldn't really make heads or tails of what you're looking at. It was all blurry and lens flares and stuff like that. Is there an inside? Oh no, that's the reflection. I was gonna say, if there's an entire inside to this place, that would be really interesting. But again, we have this weird rear entrance. Let's see if I can ghost if there's anything in this place. I'm willing to bet that there isn't, because nothing seems to have anything in it. I'm constantly waiting to just pass that wall and to get jump scared by something like right here waiting for me. But no, the developers haven't gone that far yet. Nothing going on. We got another box up here. Nothing going on. Nothing going on in the smokestacks. Okay, so very interesting though, because like I've said in the past, I'm pretty sure this is where the neighbor works. He's always wearing worker gloves. It would make sense that he works at a factory. It would make sense that his factory job is here. So maybe at some point he's here and we see him drive home from work. Next stop, the high school, and I'm starting to feel a lot like a tour guide. Like, if you look out your window on the left, you will see Alpha 4 high school, maybe? It was Alpha 3 high school before. You will see lovely graffiti congratulating you on finding this place, because it says, "Luck you," and nothing else. People always say, I don't think that's what it says. It's missing 2 lines there, guys. It's "luck you." Nothing going on. Nope. Can't go inside. Nothing inside. Nothing around the back. Okay, but again, it's a very interesting plot point because a lot of the theories revolve around the neighbor having a son, having a sick son, the protagonist being the neighbor's son. So there being a school here definitely plays a role in all that. And we've seen school imagery before. There was a classroom in his house. There was the weird classroom, like, bully minigame where you need to hide from mannequins. So there's something going on. Whoa. Okay, I'm having one of those moments where I never thought I would say this before YouTube, but where'd the graveyard go? There was a giant graveyard here, and now there isn't, which is really, really strange. The church looks more or less the same, right? Yeah, nothing going on inside of it other than the weird holy crater that it's got going on. I wonder if this is some kind of indication of time, right? Because the only difference between a graveyard now and a graveyard then are graves. So if people haven't died, then does Alpha 4 happen before Alpha 3? I can't really imagine. I mean, it might make sense, right? Because right now, the train is working. Alpha 3, it was decommissioned. Usually that's how things would go, not the other way around. Strange. It also is kind of leading to what I said earlier, being, why would there be a mausoleum or a monument or that giant thing over there if there's a graveyard on the hill? Turns out, there isn't. Now, it's like I said, I will be doing a theory video on Alpha 3 plus Alpha 4 because the other two were very well received, and both of them have added so much to the potential story, but let's just quickly run over what we have. We have a gas station where the protagonist comes in through after moving from the big city. We have the factory where the neighbor works because of his giant gloves. We have the school where his son goes to. The grocery store where I would assume his wife went. I think my standing theory right now is that his wife went to the grocery store, had to pick up their son, they got in an accident because there's a lot of imagery of car accidents in this game, both of them go to the hospital, the wife dies, hence cemetery scene, mausoleum, monument, whatever, and the son lives. And then that was why there was a gurney in his house in one of the early alphas, and then something weird happens. Maybe his wife didn't go to the grocery store, maybe he goes to the grocery store and that's where he gets approached by the demon to sell his soul and start doing the things that he's doing. But there wasn't really a whole lot more here. I was really hoping for one or two more buildings, but it's like I said, Alpha 3 was the groundwork for the final game. We're really just waiting for all of the strings to be attached. But I think that's gonna be it for this episode of Hello Neighbor, guys. Is the neighbor running around on the roof? Do you see that? How did he get up there? This is what I've been talking about. It's unbelievable. Like, I'll be flying around, he'll see me with his binoculars, and he'll find a way to get anywhere. He's just so overpowered. But like I was saying, that's gonna be it for this episode. I do know that there are a couple more things that I might be able to do. I'm kind of tempted to go into the mini games and cheat. Fly around so that we don't get caught right away or we don't have to platform for hours, and just take a look for any little secrets or clues that might be hiding there. And I also know that you can plant that seed and something happens. I would imagine something grows from it. That's what the comments have been telling me. So if you guys are interested in seeing all of that in another episode, be sure to leave a like on this video, and I'll try to get to a theory video as soon as possible. It's like I said, I really need to just kind of accumulate my thoughts and let the Alpha 4 play out so that I have all of the information. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.